What's going on, everybody? It's your observant lineman, Uche Nwaneri, and making a video that I really did not anticipate making today. We've had some breaking news coming out of the AP Wire in regards to a completely tragic and disturbing event that's taken place that includes a former NFL player as the suspect, as the perpetrator of the violence. We're going to go into this article quickly here. Now, this article is coming from the AP, the Associated Press. It says former NFL player Phillip Adams killed 5, then himself. Obviously, this is a huge tragedy for everyone involved. And I think there's a lot of things that need to be discussed in regards to some of the surrounding issues that have likely helped in allowing something like this to happen. So let's go through this article, and I'll give you guys my personal thoughts once we get to the end of this. It says, Rock Hill, South Carolina, the gunman who killed 5 people, including a prominent doctor in South Carolina, was the former NFL player Phillip Adams, who killed himself early Thursday, according to a person who was briefed on the investigation. This person, who spoke on condition of anonymity because he wasn't authorized to speak publicly, says Adams' parents live near the doctor's home in Rock Hill and that he had been treated by the doctor. He said Adams killed himself after midnight with the .45 caliber weapon. The York County Sheriff's Office said they had searched for hours before finding the suspect in a nearby home. Dr. Robert Leslie, 70, and his wife, Barbara Leslie, 69, were pronounced dead at the scene, along with the grandchildren, Ada Leslie, 9, and Noah Leslie, 5. I mean, that's just disgusting. The York County Coroner's Office said a man who had been working at the home, James Lewis, 38, from Gatson, was found shot to death outside, and a 6th person was hospitalized with serious gunshot wounds. York County Sheriff's Office spokesperson Trent Ferris said. Adams, 33, played in 78 NFL games over 5 seasons for 6 teams. A safety and special teams player from South Carolina State, he joined the 49ers in 2010 as a 7th-round draft pick. Rarely a starter, Adams also was with New England, Seattle, Oakland, and New York Jets, finishing his career with the Atlanta Falcons in 2015. As a rookie, late in the 2010 season, Adams suffered a severe ankle injury that required surgery that included several screws being inserted into his leg. He never played for the 49ers again, getting released just before the 2011 season began and signing with New England. He next moved to the Raiders, where he had 2 concussions in a 3-game period in 2012. I think that's definitely something that we're going to be talking about. Whether Adams suffered long-lasting injuries from his concussions as a player wasn't immediately clear. Adams will not have been eligible for testing as part of a broad settlement between the league and its former players over such injuries because he hadn't retired by 2014. Adams' father told Charlotte television station that he blamed football for problems that may have led his son to commit Wednesday's violence. I can say he's a good kid. He was a good kid. And I think the football messed him up. Alonzo Adams told WCNC TV. We didn't talk much and he didn't bother nobody. Ferris said early Thursday the deputies were called around 4:45 p.m. Wednesday to the Leslie's home and evacuated the neighbors as they spent hours searching for the suspect with police dogs before finding him in a nearby home. Allison Hope, who lives across the road, said police allowed her to return to her home around 9 p.m. Wednesday, just before she saw a vehicle pull into the Adams driveway. She said law enforcement quickly surrounded the house and then spent hours negotiating with Adams using a loudspeaker and sending in a robot to scan the house. She said authorities repeatedly asked Adams to come out and promised to get his disabled mother out safely before Adams shot himself. This is something I can't grasp yet. I can't put it all together, and I'm trying to. And I witnessed it, Hope said. I feel bad for him because if it was mental or something going on in his life or whatever, he needed help, and that's the sad part. Ferris provided few details early Thursday ahead of a planned news conference. We have found the person we believe is responsible, and we are with him at this time, and that's all I can say about the suspect. Ferris said, adding that they had no reason to believe anyone else was involved. We are currently at the house and we are serving a search warrant. Later Thursday, a few sheriff's deputies were posted near the Leslie home, which is far beyond an arched stone gate up a long paved driveway and not visible from the road. The Adams home, roughly a mile down the road, is a modest one-story brick house with several cars in the driveway. Leslie had worked for decades as an emergency room doctor in Rock Hill, board certified in both emergency medicine and occupational medicine, and serving as emergency department medical director for nearly 15 years at Rock Hill General Hospital, according to his website. He founded the 2 urgent care centers in the area and wrote a weekly medical column for the Charlotte Observer. He also wrote a book, Angels in the ER, collecting what he termed inspiring true stories from his time in the emergency department. I know without a doubt that life is fragile, Leslie wrote, according to an excerpt. I've come to understand that humility may be the greatest virtue, and I'm convinced we need to take the time to say the things we deeply feel to the people we deeply care about. Ferris said Leslie was very well known in the Rock Hill community. Dr. Leslie was my doctor growing up, Ferris said. Dr. Leslie has been one of those people that everybody knows. He started Riverview Medical Center in Rock Hill, and it's been a staple in Rock Hill for years. A biography page said he and his wife raised 4 children and that Leslie received his degree at the Medical University of South Carolina. Rock Hill is a city in northernmost South Carolina, about 25 miles southwest of Charlotte, North Carolina. Whew, wow. You know, it's very sad, very, very disturbing. Just with the little information that we have right now, the situation is definitely bound to see more information come out in regards to what actually happened. Probably the timeline leading up to this. Was this something that happened, you know, from a random perspective? Was there some kind of interactions in the past between Dr. Leslie and Adams that may have, you know, that may have had something to do with this situation? We don't know. A lot of information that is yet to be found out. But I can speak at least on the one side of this dealing with Phillip Adams, that this is absolutely something that is reprehensible, that's disgusting, but also something that as a former player, I can say that there are elements of this that I'm sure can be traced back to his time as an athlete, traced back to mental health in regards to the long-term effects of concussions. Now, we really don't know his entire medical record in terms of his concussion situation. They said he had 2, but if you look at the studies that deal with concussions in football, subconcussive contact is the most dangerous aspect of playing football, because subconcussive contact is made on every single play. Every time you come off the line of scrimmage and you run into a lineman, every time you're covering a receiver and you make a tackle, every time that you're in those close quarter situations, you are at risk for subconcussive contact, which actually does more damage to the brain over time than a flat out concussion will. A concussion resets the brain. It kind of, it hits it and it shuts it, it shuts down active functions for a moment before the person comes back to being conscious. But subconcussive contacts, which are usually played through, which are usually, happen in the dozens throughout one game. If you add those up through the course of somebody's career, for example, a 5-year NFL career, and we're only talking about his NFL time. You're not talking about the college time. You're not talking about the high school time. You're not talking about the Pop Warner time, where all of those contacts actually provide the same amount of long-term damage. You're looking at least 5 years of consecutive subconcussion impacts that are going to affect that person later on in life, whether they realize it or not. But at the end of the day, this man went out and committed a crime, and he committed a vile crime. He took out an entire family of 5 people, including, I mean, the guy who was there working on the house. He was shot to death. There's somebody in the hospital still at this point who is dealing with serious injuries due to this man's actions. And I think that regardless of whatever mental issues there may have been, people who are in the inner circle, and when I say that, I mean his family, I feel like there's a responsibility there, being as that he's living with his family, living with his parents. There needed to have been an intervention. And that's not to say that an intervention would have prevented this from happening, but it would have been on record in the broader perspective. People would have known that this guy was dealing with issues that may have been having an effect on his personality, on his temper, on his ability to think straight, on his ability to understand and prioritize. These are all things that come into play, and that is not an excuse at all for this action, for this vile action that he took. I mean, this is murder. I mean, and then on top of that, he took his own life. So we're not even afforded the ability to actually understand what was really happening in this man's head that led him to think that this was a viable solution to whatever problems he thought he had. But this is, again, absolutely a tragic situation. And, I hate to say the phrase thoughts and prayers, because that's something that I think we've all become pretty numb to in this day and age. But I do hope for healing for the family of Dr. Leslie and his kids who have now lost their children, and Dr. Leslie, who not only lost his life and his wife's life, but also lost the life of 2 of his grandchildren. That is gut-wrenching and heart-wrenching in a way that I cannot even imagine. I have 2 little girls, so I mean, one can only dream of how painful this situation has to be at this moment for everyone in that family, and as well as Phillip Adams' parents and their family. Although I feel like there could have been, or there should have been, more attention paid to their son's mental capacity. I do, in a way, still feel very sorry for them as well, because that is a mark in their family's legacy that will be forever hard to ever clear away. This is something that has affected a number of people's lives and a number of people's children's lives. And, it's just sad. I think that this is a failing, not only for Phillip Adams, but also for the system and the support system that's supposed to lift you up as an individual and help you get through those times that are trying. And when you're dealing with a situation like many former athletes find themselves in when they're talking about mental health, especially in the football realm, you're talking about things like CTE. These things can manifest truly terrible traits from people who weren't normally didn't normally have that kind of personal ugliness within them. It's sad, because there's nothing that I can really say here that's going to give any real understanding as to why this happened, and why concussions and CTE and things of that nature need to be taken far more serious than they are, because these are the kind of things that it can lead to. I mean, we've seen a number of players commit suicide in the NFL because of this, and now we have another player here who has committed murder and suicide. So it's really a tragic situation, and I hope that once we get more information, we can at least get a little bit more perspective on what happened, and maybe find some way to give closure to these families as to why this tragic event took place. But please let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. Hit the like button if you like this video. And subscribe to The Observant Lineman, Uche Nwaneri. Appreciate you guys so much. We'll check you out on the next one. Peace.